What's happening today, guys? Coach Chris coming at you as promised. If you are on my email list, then you should have gotten an email from me this morning about the plan this week for the Facebook Lives. If you're on my email list and you did not get that, then I would ask that you maybe check your spam and your junk folder. And if you're not on my email list and you'd like to be, just shoot me a message and give me your email address and I'll make sure I get you on there. So this week, the conversation is about nutrition. Yesterday, I kind of gave you an overview of the overarching kind of structure, the framework from within that I built my nutrition philosophy, the principles and the approach that I use both with myself and with people I train. Made a bold statement, and I'll make it again, that every person that I've worked with who's implemented these principles and the techniques and strategies that I teach has had results. They've lost weight. I've had folks losing 20 pounds in a month. I've had people losing 20, 30 plus pounds in 8 weeks. I've also had people that are putting on muscle, getting a ton of energy, which is probably in my book even more important. Yeah, I want to help folks lose weight. That's important, not from a vanity standpoint, but from a health and longevity perspective. Especially when you get past the age of 40, you're at a higher risk of heart disease, strokes, diabetes, and all kinds of nastiness if you're overweight. So, anywho, that was yesterday. Talked about the framework from what I built, the principles, and I found it's important that you have a structure and a framework that you work in. Otherwise, what happens, you get kind of drawn into about 50 different directions, and it's like, oh, shiny object, squirrel, and you're on to the next thing. And that was okay for me early on, because early on I was learning, I was exploring, and I still try out different things that come along, sometimes just to test it out. But at the end of the day, here's the deal. Over the last 20 years, as this is shaped, and especially the last 15 years, it's virtually unchanged. And that's not because I'm not open to new ideas. It's just that the simple fact is, like anything else in the health and fitness industry, it is the fundamental principles, the tried and true things that get you results. We all want that new thing. We want that quick fix. We want the new trend, and we want to be all up in that stuff and think it's going to work for us because we don't want to do the work sometimes. We don't want to have the discipline. I'll talk more about discipline later this week and a few other things I have in mind. Here's the deal, guys. I'm going to share with you the one thing that if you do nothing else that I teach you, if you do this one thing, I assure you, you're going to feel better and you're going to lose weight. That's my given to you. You can try it for 30 days. If it doesn't work, let me know. I'll work with you for free. How's that? So here's the deal, guys. I got it on the whiteboard here that I'm going to bring out in just a moment. And we're going to go over what our, this is the number one thing I want to share with you. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied there. This is what I call the hunger satisfied scale. I kind of started to implement this about 15 years ago, and it's remained unchanged. And here's the thing. Again, if you implement this and you follow it to a T, you're going to get results. It takes time to get a handle on this, and it takes time to really understand it and incorporate it for some people. All right, especially if you've had challenges in the past of, being able to go long periods of time without eating, if you've had issues with anorexia and things like that, or if you're a serial compulsive overeater. This is going to take some time, but I will tell you, if you follow this, you're going to see some good results, both with weight loss and energy. So again, if you do nothing else that I show you, do this and you're going to see results. So here we go. It is my hunger satisfied scale. So if I can get that in here for you better. So guys, this is just built off of a 1 to 10 scale. All right. And what we talk about here, guys, it's really about your point of being satisfied, of hunger and true physical hunger, not emotional hunger. We'll talk more about that later. Emotional hunger is very different than physical. We have to tune in to our bodies, our physical hunger. Most of us, we're kind of divorced from that. We don't really know when we should eat and when we shouldn't eat, when we've eaten too much, because we've been taught oftentimes from a very young age to clean your plate. Everything is on your plate. There's starving kids in some third world country, okay? And that's just kind of where a lot of that begins, and we start to overeat. For some people, again, it's kind of a stress thing, it's a control thing. They know they can kind of override it and not feel hunger, and they can ignore it. But this is really tuning in. Your body is designed to tell you when you are physically hungry, right? There's internal mechanisms, physiological systems, anatomical systems that will trigger your hunger response if you're keen to it and if you honor it. There's also systems in your body, and your mechanisms are physiological, anatomical, that will tell you when you're full. but we got to get in tune first and foremost. So let's start off, just run through this bad boy. I'm gonna leave a picture of this probably in the notes, the comment section down here, but here we go. We're gonna start at the level 5 and 6, all right? 5 and 6 is neutral. That means I don't feel hungry, I don't feel full, I don't feel anything, right? I'm just neutral. And we're gonna go in the reverse order of starting at hunger. So we got a 6 and a 5, that's neutral. We need to go down to a 4. The 4 is that first point of hunger. It's like, I feel a little hungry. I feel like I could eat. I don't have to right now, but I could, right? That's a 4. When you drop down to a 3, right? That's when you have those real sensations of hunger. You might feel that growling in your stomach and some discomfort, right? When you get down to a 2, a 2 is when you start to feel maybe lightheaded, you're feeling dizzy. This is a result of low blood sugar. You start to feel nauseated, okay? Nauseous, I don't know, what's the right tense of that word? I don't care. But you know the drill, you know what I'm saying? You start to not feel good. And a 1, the X is, you're passing out. Just kidding. It's when you get to a 1 that you don't want to go. That's a danger zone. A lot of times you get to that point, you don't feel hungry anymore, but you can actually get into low blood sugar issues to the point where you do actually pass out, and it's just not cool. All right, now let's go back up the other way. From a 6, we go to a 7. The 7, that is the first indication of being satisfied. I didn't say full, I said satisfied. And that means, I've had enough. I could eat more, but I think I've had enough. I'm good. All right, so you stop. That's a 7. An 8, that's when we feel over full. All right, you're starting to get some discomfort. You feeling uncomfortable, right? You go to a 9, that's very overfilled. You've eaten too much, and now you're really getting into discomfort. And a 10, that's talking about Thanksgiving. That's talking about a big holiday meal. That's talking about Super Bowl parties where you're just throwing down and you're eating way too much food, right? And you're in pain, and you get on the stretchy pants, you get on the yoga pants, or you have to unbutton your pants and pass out on the couch. So, guys, that is the 1 to 10 scale. Now let me talk real quick about how to apply this sucker. You want at a number 4, that's when you should start planning or determining what your meal is going to be or preparing it, so that when you hit a 3, when your stomach's growling, you have that real sense of hunger, that's when you should start to eat your meal or your snack. If you wait till 2, you're waiting too long. We won't talk about intermittent fasting. I don't want to get into that. It's a whole nother game. But when you get into that intermittent fasting, it's not a bad thing, but it's a different topic for a different time. So you get to a 3, that's when you should start eating a meal or a snack. When you get to a 2, you've gone too far. Now, when you start to have your meal or your snack, we start to feel that first sign of being satisfied. That's a 7, right? It's that feeling of, I've had enough. I'm not full, I'm not uncomfortable, but I could stop. That's when you want to have the discipline to stop, step away. Here's the thing. If you want to eat more, fine. Stop at a 7, set it aside, and if in a few hours you start to feel a 4 and a 3 again, then you eat. You don't eat based off of what time of day it is. You don't eat because the clock says it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 p.m. in the evening. You eat when your body tells you to eat. So it's okay when you stop at a 7, finish your meal, take a pause, time out, set it aside. If you get hungry again at a 4, hit a 3, have some more of it, okay? If you get to an 8, you've gone too far. So the sweet spot is really between a 3 and a 7. That's where we should be at most times. Either you're 5, 6 neutral, or you're 4, 3 feeling hungry, and then you're eating, and then you're feeling 7 to feel full and satisfied. That's all there is to it. It's just that simple. Implementing it is a little more challenging. Again, it could take you some time to get the discipline, and you're going to screw it up. You're going to fail. I don't care. I do it all the time. Not all the time, sometimes. But if you want to see results, guys, if you want to have energy, you know, when you overeat or you don't eat enough or often enough, it screws up your energy, right? Your blood sugar levels fluctuate. It screws up your energy. If you eat too much, it drags your metabolism down and it drags you down, right? So it's going to keep you humming along in a good, solid place if you can stay in that range of a 3 to a 7. So again, that's my number 1 principle I want to share with you. If you implement nothing else that I teach you, that's the thing I'm going to suggest that you drill, you practice it, and you get it mastered. Once you can master that, you're home free. All right? That's it for today. And I see my buddy Ian, my brother's on here. I'm going to talk about soy later this week. Ian requested that I kind of debunk this whole myth about soy being bad for you. So I'm going to talk about that later this week. You might get some enlightening information. But guys, if you have questions or comments or anything else, please post them here and let me know if there's other things you want me to talk about in a Facebook Live. And I will be back on here at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Hey, and yo, bro. I love that. Love the interaction. So, yeah, I'll be back on here tomorrow to talk more about nutrition. I'm going to hit it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, and I've got some really cool stuff coming at you next week as well. So guys, I just got done doing boot camp with my folks from our corporate gig boot camp class. And speaking of all this nutrition stuff, I got to get some food. I am definitely at a 3 right now. So I'm going to go hit myself up to a 7 on my diet, my nutrition, my lunch. Anyway, guys, having fun here, so I hope you get something out of this. And as always, you know the drill. Get out there, get after it, and peace.